I can hear you. Can you see me? What about now? Okay. Let me just adjust this a little bit here. Oh, okay, how about now? This, I'm not driving. I pull over especially for you. For you, you guys are so important. Now, how about now? That's good. Am I okay? Okay, thank you. Now I'm driving. Absolutely every day.
Welcome. We'll go ahead and get started. And like to ask Rhett to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Rhett. Okay, I'd like to introduce our newest board member, Truman Toll-Free. That amounts, do we get credits for toll-free?
You know, I wish. I wish we had it first, but it's spelled differently too.
So we're very happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Look forward to working with you and having you join our team. You've got substantial experience in the real estate world.
Thank you.
So that's good, and we'll learn from you. I'm sure any number of things.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, I'll ask for approval of the minutes from our October 15th meeting. Moved by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. Any additional corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rachel, any public comments?
I don't believe anyone signed up to speak. No.
All right, Kevin Loki, can you give us an update on our local labor monitoring report?
Good afternoon. So I have the October 2024 report covering our visits between October 1st and October 31st. During this period, we made 85 monthly site visits. We had 12 follow-up visits during that period. Checked with residency with 1,906 workers. We had 23 issues of non-compliance, 10 of which no proof of residence, 13 were out of area, and I had 2 new COMIDA signs delivered to the ESIB LLC project as well as King Park 2022 LLC.
Thank you. Any questions for Kevin? All right, home run. Thank you. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kevin.
Next item on our agenda is the local labor exemption report from Jim
So
Logan.
I'll just stay up here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay, so this one's a little bit more in depth. Anyways, so this is all the waivers that we had approved for October. So there were 4 of those for the Fairlife LLC project, and I'll walk through those one at a time. If you want me to stop in between, just let me know. First one was for Tank Connection. That was on the warranty grounds. They are based out of Parsons, Kansas, and they'll be fabricating and installing liquid tanks on the Fairlife LLC project. They are the preferred vendor for Fairlife, and they work with them across the country. Total cost of that is $595,000, and it'll require 7 total workers. I lost my place here. 10 Connections installing proprietary equipment, and they'll only warranty their product if it's a certified installer that's performing the work. And the closest certified company is in Missouri, in Pineville, Missouri. Any questions on that one? Okay, so then there was Local 33 for Contour Steel. This is for a lack of local labor. They're asking for an exemption for 1 journeyman who will be working on the Fairlife project, who had significant experience that's necessary for the project. Basically, a letter from the union hall was received, and the unions were just short, so they had to pull from another jurisdiction, was the reason there. Third one was for ISI. That was a price point differential. They're located in Emmetsville, Pennsylvania, and they'll be fabricating and installing the utility process piping at the Fairlife project. The price for that was significantly higher than the local companies, significantly 164% and 272% higher to go with the 2 local qualified companies. And we spent a considerable amount of time verifying that scope of work with the local trades to verify that this was all accurate before processing that waiver. Final one was for Tetra Pak, and this was a warranty/specialty category here. So Fairlife has retained Tetra Pak to design, manufacture, and install all the equipment and controls for the receiving storage, milk separation, milk filtration, flavored and white milk batching. And let's see here, the company's requirements in the system have been designed by Tetra Pak to meet the requirements of the pasteurized milk ordinance. Lots of milk stuff there. So the next one is for the Indus Lehigh Station project. That was for Sacor. There was no local labor available for this one. They are located in Portage, Pennsylvania, and they'll be fabricating and installing precast panels at the Indus Lehigh Station project. In Henrietta, there's currently no local companies who both manufacture and install precast panels in the defined local area. Sacor also provides a warranty if the panels are installed directly by the company, and they will be using a local crane operator from CP Ward to assist in the erection of these panels, which shows a good faith effort to utilize the local workforce during this portion of the project. And the final 2 waivers were for the 80 Linden LLC project. First one was Everything Ice. This is considered specialty construction. Located in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, they'll be fabricating and installing the ice rink at the 80 Linden LLC project in Parrington. Everything Ice designs and installs their own rinks, hockey arenas, and skating facilities across the country. There are no local companies who can perform the full scope of work related to the installation of the rink and all the mechanicals. We contacted 2 local companies, but neither could provide the full scope offered by Everything Ice. Everything Ice will install the ice rink itself, refrigeration and mechanical components, dasher boards, and dehumidification tools. And the final one there was All American Arena Products. This was for warranty. All American Arena. Let's see here, where did that go? Okay, so there are no local companies who can perform the full scope. I guess I have the wrong information on that one. It's repeated twice. Forgive me on that one, but I can provide you that in an email because it's the same paragraph, so forgive me for that. I just realized it now.
The same.
Kevin,
But they're 2 different
check this, read this.
They are.
Is that the right one there?
Bottom
let's see.
Comment?
No, it's the same one, actually.
Yeah,
So, I appreciate that, though. But I can give you the updated one and send it an email
Yeah.
if that would be helpful.
that's fine.
Sure. Any questions on all of those? It's really a busy month for waivers.
Just a comment? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate the amount of detail that was provided. It's very helpful with, for us to understand the amount of scope, the amount of time to put into the process. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions for Kevin, and you'll update us?
Of course.
All right,
Yep.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for that one.
Thank you.
Otherwise, have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, you too. Next item on our agenda is our finance report. Greg?
Great, thanks, Ann. Financials through 10 months of the year. Cash is down approximately $3 million compared to where we were at the beginning of this year, mainly due to our purchase of treasuries and investments and to support the deficit that has been planned. You can see we still have the $7 million in our grant funding sitting in our in a separate bank account as long as a corresponding liability related to the Fast New York RG&E project. No activity on that quite yet. We do anticipate that starting in the next 30 to 60 days, you'll start seeing some vouchering and some transactions there. In terms of our investments, we did have two maturities that we did not repurchase due to our significant workforce development expenditures planned over the next 90 days. You'll see that the increase in our accounts payable really relating to those workforce development expenses coming due. That represents about $1.2 million as of October. Our revenue and our expenses, through 10 months, as we've talked about, we do anticipate a significant transaction closing here, hopefully in the next 60 days. It's, this time of year is always when we're trying to get deals done.
Is it primarily just one?
It's one significant one that we're kind of waiting on.
And what's the value of that?
Approximately $4 million. All right, so that'll change the financial.
Puts us back in the right.
Puts us back in the red, right? So.
As last year, for example.
Right.
Gets us in the same.
Hard to tell, right? So that doesn't happen this year. We're still anticipating, okay, we're,
Right.
Maybe in the first quarter of 25. You can see our interest from our investments has over budget, mainly due because we've had more excess cash that we've been able to invest over the last 10 months. All of our expenses are really tracking according to budget. Really, all the big differences in total expenses is really the timing of our workforce development payments are a little bit more than we had anticipated, but all according to budget. And we did have a couple, about a 1.5 FTEs that we didn't budget for last year that has been approved by the board. So overall, we are showing a deficit, which has to be expected. We do anticipate the last quarter here being having a lot of quite a bit of activity. Overall, like I said, the financial position of the organization is in a really good shape, and anticipate greater things ahead, based on where we are from a financial and asset standpoint.
Okay, Fred, anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I think on the financials, I think I'm good unless anyone has any questions. I did want to introduce Mike from HPA, who, as the board has approved, is going to handle our investments moving forward. We just started that transition probably in the last 3 weeks or so, getting him up to speed on where we stand. So I'll let Mike maybe talk a little bit about where we are.
Sounds good. Thank you all for having us. Mike Cicero, Director of Research for High Probability Advisors. So to report on the transition, we have received all 7 bonds. So we have all assets in our possession at this point. We are waiting on costs to be transferred over, so we understand what you paid for it. That's entering our system hopefully within the next 2 to 3 days. The estimated yield on those bonds, which total $13.7 million, is roughly $410,000 a year is what we're estimating at this point. And the yield to maturity on that portfolio as a whole is 4.4%. So we're really happy with how the portfolio stands today. The furthest out maturity is 1.5 years from right now, and the next maturity will be January 15th of 2025. So at that point in time, we'll look to see what cash needs to be used, and that will then be, that if it's not used, will be reinvested in a further out bond, probably in June of 2026. So we did send over a draft report, which will be included for each of the board meetings going forward. If there's any feedback whatsoever, we'd be happy to adjust that. We are happy with how that's structured at this point in time.
Looks like we're on the right track. We appreciate all that you're doing.
And thank you for your
us.
trust.
The relationship is a new one, but we needed you.
We're looking forward to it.
So that we're being as efficient as we can
Yes,
with our funds.
we look forward to being able to help.
If there's a report, that'd be great to get a copy for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Mike?
Were we gonna, Greg, were we gonna, oh, not for Mike,
Thank you.
also, were we supposed to get that
Thank
monthly
you, Mike.
report?
We're working out some formatting
Okay.
and things like
Next
that.
month,
So
okay.
it was a little, we're trying to, we didn't have the cost basis, so we're trying, the next monthly meeting, we'll have something.
Okay.
And again, like Mike said, we're trying to give as much information in a format that is not too much. So, as Mike said, if there's feedback on more information or less, whatever, we'll take that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions on that? All right, let's move forward then. Our first project today is 120 Main Hotel LLC. Would you like to walk us through that, Rob?
Of course. 120 Main Hotel LLC is proposing the renovation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of the former 14-story Rochester Riverside Hotel in the city of Rochester. The renovated facility will consist of a parking garage with 329 structured and surface parking spaces, a 123-room hotel with restaurants and retail space on floors 1, 2, and 3, banquet and meeting spaces on floor 4, and 171 residential units on floors 6 through 14. The residential portion will have 1 to 2 bedroom units with rent ranges from $1,000 to $1,654 per month. 20% or 34 units of the residential units will be set aside for the individuals earning 60% of the area median income and will be a representative cross-section of the units. This project is considered retail under Section 862 of the General Municipal Law. However, the project qualifies for benefits under the highly distressed area exception. Project is located contiguous to a distressed census tract. The $61 million project is projected to create 27 jobs over 3 years. At the request of the city of Rochester, this project is seeking a special 20-year property tax abatement, sales tax, and mortgage recording tax exemptions. The benefit to incentive ratio is 3 to 1.
Thanks, Robin, and I believe we have Tom Fox, Director of Development, Ellicott Development. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Would you like to elaborate? I mean, that was a lot of detail.
That was wonderful.
But if you want to expand on that, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Tom Fox, Ellicott Development Company, Buffalo, New York. On behalf of Ellicott and our partner, Grassi, I want to thank the City of Rochester and COMIDA for your support and consideration of this application, and also your consideration and support in the rebuilding of the downtown core. In the face of substantial cost increases over the last 4 years in our development business with construction materials, labor rates, financing costs, the project is infeasible, but for the help provided through this assistance package, it's not pencil out. So with your support of this application, we look forward to the opportunity in the next year, in 2025, to be able to get this project off the ground finally. Completion targeted for 2027, at which point we can once again have this building contributing to the downtown core. That's all I have to say. I just want to make myself available for any questions about the application. Thank you.
Is there any separation between the low-income units and the standard?
Physical separation in the building and the structure?
Yeah.
No, they're intermixed, all floors.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan.
That's good.
So we're still working with our architect through interior fit out. We just started our detailed schematic drawings now, working through all those fine details, but they will be intermixed throughout all the floors, the residential floors from 6 on up through 14. Yes?
Obviously you're connected to the convention center.
Yeah.
Those hotel rooms, the feeling is that there are enough hotel rooms based on the need of the convention center?
Yeah, we had conducted a market study a couple times, most recently earlier this year, that put the sweet spot for this property about 125 rooms, so a little bit above that right now. That number had gone up and down a little bit over the past few years in our programming discussions, but we feel that it's a proper fit, and that's generally where a lot of the hotel flags that we deal with, Hilton, Marriott, and others like to be. And through our discussions with them early on, as we look to secure a flag for this hotel, that's where they wanted to be as well with their own market studies. So, yes.
Yeah, Greg, because the convention center is losing some conventions, so we want to make sure we have enough hotel rooms to
Certainly, right.
make sure it's a viable convention center. Bring a lot of money to the county and the city.
Will there be any new branding on the name or the affiliation with the Marriott or some other?
The hotel flag is not set yet, so we're still working on that. We've discussed some initial ideas for branding. At this time, we're just referring to it as 120 East Main. But as we get through our schematic and construction documents and start to mark the property further into early next year, I think that we'll have some more robust marketing details and potentially name on the property for its rebirth.
Good to know. Any questions, other questions from the board? All right, there was a public hearing on this project on November 14th. Were there any comments at that meeting?
Members of the public and media did attend. We answered some clarifying questions about the project, but there were no comments in favor or against the financial assistance being contemplated.
Thank you. I'll ask you some local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, I am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
We do not.
And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
We are.
Yeah, okay, great. The seeker process is complete. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, mortgage recording tax exemption, and a real property tax abatement. Moved by Lisa.
Second.
There you go. Any additional corrections to that or questions? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Norm?
Yes.
Thank you. Brett?
Yay.
Lisa? Yes. Truman?
Yes.
And Ann is a yay, so that's unanimous. Congratulations to you. It'll be great for our city to have that project sort of refreshed for all visitors and users of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next project is 28151 Clover LLC housing project. It's the first meeting for this housing project, and there's no action required. It's more informational. And Robin, you want to kick us off?
Yep. 2851 Clover LLC is proposing the construction of a new housing development in the town of Pittsburgh. This development has been designed around the desires of the town of Pittsburgh for affordable workforce housing. The property is currently run down, has been vacant for almost 10 years, and needs a significant asbestos removal. This new development will consist of 175 units, 122 one-bedroom, 42 two-bedroom, and 12 three-bedroom, with rents ranging from $15.99 to $31.99 per month. Per COMIDA's policy, 35 or 20% of the 175 units will be set aside as affordable for those earning 80% of the area median income at rents of $13.50 to $2,096. These affordable units will be a representative cross-section of all units. This $41 million project is projected to create 8 new FTEs over the next 3 years. 2851 Clover LLC is seeking approval of a real property tax abatement, sales tax exemption, and mortgage recording tax exemption. And again, just a reminder, there's no benefits being approved at this time.
Thanks, Robin. I'd like to welcome Daniele and the president and Anthony Daniele. President, two presidents?
I'm a little, my guess is a little higher.
Takes two, right?
Whoever gets to work first.
Can you share additional details with us?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having us. Thank you for considering this application. This property, for those that may not be familiar with it, the intersection of Clover Street and Jefferson Road in Pittsburgh, across the street from the YMCA. It used to be the home of the Crystal Bar restaurant for many years. I know I had dinner there for prom night years and years ago. About 12 years ago, the entire facility had been closed. It's been vacant, it's abandoned for the past 11 and a half, 12 years. The offices have been closed, and it's been sitting there without anything going there. And it's a shame, because that's a really good spot, and you'd think something would have gone in there. Unfortunately, I think the financials have kept many developers away. There was a group before us. They started about 5 years ago, Cloverwood. They purchased the property in hopes of putting senior living apartments there. They spent almost 2 years putting a project together and developing it, and they were almost at permit-ready plans, and they realized after 2.5 years of working with the town and figuring out the financials that it just was not a viable project, and they threw out $400,000 or $500,000 worth of work because they knew they couldn't go forward, and they approached us sometime after that. I wouldn't say begging, but it was more than asking. It was saying, we really need someone who might be able to take this thing and do something with it, that has some experience. We've done multifamily units in the past. We took a look at the project. It's an extremely tight project for many reasons. The asbestos, the utilities, there's a lot of challenges with that property, which now we understood why they couldn't make it happen. We've worked with the town to amend some of the zoning. That's taken a little over a year, year and a half. We probably have a few months left, still working with the town. But we've been able to put this project together, and I believe with the assistance of this program, we should be able to get over the start line and cross the finish line probably sometime summer of June 2027. We are from Pittsburgh, we're from the area, and from nothing else, I personally drive by the site 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, and I'd like to see something go there. It's a shame that no one has been able to make anything work over there, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to rejuvenate that corner for rebirth of some action in that space.
Do you have approval by the town at this point?
We do have we have approvals from the town. We have seeker completed to move forward. We're in the design stage, the design board stages now, getting the final approvals.
And the asbestos remediation, how long does that take?
It hasn't been completed. We've started parts of it that we could. There's still some that needs to be done, but we've kind of put everything on hold for various reasons. And then my brother Anthony, the other president.
Yeah, the other president. And I'll just add, just to reiterate that, the feasibility of the project, it doesn't work without some IDA assistance. The project creates hundreds of construction jobs, millions in economic impact, and permanent jobs upon completion. We are requesting mortgage tax, sales tax, and the pilot. But we do want to be clear that if the board feels that the pilot is too much of an ask, when we originally approached the IDA, we were requesting just sales tax and mortgage tax, but at that time without the set aside. We understand that there's policy now that requires a set aside of 20%, which we are prepared for. But just to, in order, if we weren't going to do the pilot, the mortgage tax and sales tax alone don't support a 20% set aside, and I think you're aware of that. It would support probably up to 10%. That's what just mortgage tax and sales tax. I know there's a lot of conversations about that. And then the only other point that I'll make is that Pittsburgh, neighbors Victor and Ontario County. There are several apartment projects that are currently under development or have just gone online, all of which, as far as I know, all of which have received IDA benefits from Ontario County, competing against those other new to market apartment complexes difficult in our situation without the IDA support. So. Yes?
Yeah, I can certainly speak to the need. I happen to live across the street from Dunwood Green, and those apartments are pretty much sold out. So there's certainly this need for aging in place and other economic development issues to have more housing available, so.
Yeah, you know, and I know there's a lot of conversation about Pittsford, you know, the stigma is that it's a very affluent community, and, but the reality is Pittsford is home to teachers, firefighters, other trades, and the supply of workforce housing or moderately priced housing in Pittsford is scarce, and people do want to live there. And, you know, we neighbor Henrietta and Mendon, et cetera.
Yeah, as is age in place.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
And that's a huge conversation.
Yes, it is.
Question,
Yes, Norm?
and I'm parked right now, so I'm not driving.
Good.
Tell us a little bit more about the senior housing component, age in place, and in the area, and basically the need and how you're meeting that need with this project.
Sure. So Pittsford has done several studies in the past few years, and probably the highest demand and request from its residents are folks that have grown up in Pittsford, they've raised their family in Pittsford, they lived in a bigger home and now are empty nesters, in some cases on a fixed income, would like to stay a part of the community, but you know, the old model of the, you know, big Pittsburgh home with the yard doesn't work for them, and so there's a lot of demand for aging in place facilities. We are marketing this project to 55 plus. We have not designated it as 55 plus. You know, unfortunately, from a marketing perspective, you know, generally people that are 56 years old don't want to live where, no offense, but old people live. So when you market it as senior housing or 55 plus, it's not as palatable. But the reality is the target market is the 55 to 65, 70-year-old market.
I have a question. What do you mean old people? What's your category of old people? You're going to have to clarify.
Mature people, mature.
We call them seasoned citizens. Okay, all right.
As do we.
Are there any constraints on the people who would reside in the senior living or the low income units?
No, just the income requirement.
Employed by any public entities, nothing like that?
No, I mean, we haven't tried to be that restrictive. You know, right now it'll just be based on income.
And just so people know, the county legislature is working on a housing program. And it was initially one for low income, just low income. But age in place was added to it because it's important to consider that. It's a big deal, not just for Pittsford, but just Monroe County in general.
Okay, that's very informative. So there's no action on this at this time. Do we know when we'll be coming back to review this matter?
So from here, we'll schedule a public hearing. Staff will prepare a cost-benefit analysis, answer any other questions the board may have, collect any other diligence that the board may want to see. It doesn't necessarily have to be a consecutive meeting, but if we're ready to present the application in December, we can do that.
Great.
Thank you
All
for
right,
your time.
thank you very much. Nice to see you. Next item is the Pittsford Canal Side Properties LLC, the housing project. This is the first of the meeting. You want to walk us through the details, Robin?
Of course. Pittsburgh Canal Side Properties LLC is proposing to construct a mixed-use development on 7.5 acres in the village of Pittsburgh. Development will consist of 156 units, 3% studios, 36% one-bedroom, 38% two-bedroom, and 21% three-bedroom, with rents ranging from $1,800 to $3,500. Per COMIDA's policy, 32 or 20% of the 156 units will be set aside as affordable for those earning 80% of the area median income. These affordable units will be a representative cross-section of all units. In addition to the residential portion, the development will include a clubhouse and restaurant facility along the Erie Canal. The site will also feature public benefit and amenities, including new public access points to the canal, sidewalks, gazebos, benches, landscaping, and docks. This $73 million phased project is projected to create 24 new FTEs over the next 3 years. Pittsburgh Canalside Properties LLC is seeking approval of sales tax and mortgage recording tax exemptions. And again, just a reminder that no benefits are being approved at this time, similar to the last project.
Okay, good afternoon. We have Representative Chris Nadler, the General Counsel for Mark IV Enterprises.
That's correct. Thank you very much, and thank you all for taking the time today and considering our application. With me here today, I have Chris DeMarzo, the only president of Mark IV, and Tim Reedy, our Chief Financial Officer. I'd like to talk a little briefly about our project at Westport Crossing, especially the public amenities and public benefits that and how much they cost for this project. There's obviously job creation we want to talk about and give you the opportunity to ask any questions you have. As you know, this project is located on the east side of the bridge on Monroe Avenue, just inside the village of Pittsburgh. It's located right on the Erie Canal, on a site that is currently vacant and getting a little bit overgrown. What we're proposing and what we've been approved by the village of Pittsburgh to do is build a mixed-use development, 156 apartment units, and a 125-seat restaurant. As part of our approval process with the village of Pittsburgh, extensive public amenities have been required for this project. We got a special use permit from the village board. We got a secret negative declaration from the village board. We've worked with the planning board, the historic preservation board, and the village board to get site plan approval, certificate of appropriateness for the architectural design of the project, and a local waterfront revitalization program approval. We have all those approvals in place. We work very closely. Our architects work very closely with the village, its consultants, its boards, and its staff, and we got all of the approvals we need from the village. We turn to, that was page 2, sorry. We turn to page 3 of the PowerPoint we handed out. We talk about public amenities. These are required public amenities. It's important to remember that they're for the public. Unprecedented public access to the canal in the village of Pittsburgh. We're required to put in extensive landscaping and green space, boardwalks, gazebos, benches. There will be over 1 mile of sidewalk network in the site, and that will be available to the public. Anybody who wants to come and access this site, there will be a permanent easement in place as required by the village. That public amenity is going to cost about $690,000 additional for this project. We turn to the next page. We have public docks, public restrooms, ADA compliant ramps, and boardwalks. It's going to be a great amenity for the village, for the town, and for the whole area. It'll cost another almost $500,000 to install these public amenities. These are what the village wanted, and we agreed to, and I think it'll make this project a real resource for the village, for the town, for the area. Turn to the next page. As you know, we're on the blighted contaminated site page. This project is a large petroleum processing and distribution facility for almost 100 years. In 2015, Mark IV voluntarily entered into the brownfield cleanup program and completed what was the largest brownfield remediation program in 2015. They removed 90,000 cubic tons of contaminated soil. It's a clean site now, certified by the state of New York's DEC. And that's an ongoing health benefit to the town, village, and everyone who uses the canal. That was a cost of almost $5.6 million. And it's important to remember that there's ongoing management requirements for that site. It would be almost $500,000 as part of this construction. We turn past the trucks. We're also required to do off-site public improvements as part of this project, including traffic calming measures on Monroe Avenue, west of the bridge. We'll be installing a landscape median and adding traffic calming stripes to the roadway. It'll cost almost $750,000 additional for this public benefit. So it'll make the road safer, it'll solve some traffic problems, and it'll reduce speed. Another off-site public improvement is the Sutherland Street water main improvement. It costs almost $530,000. That will improve the entire village's water system. It will increase pressure, especially at the Pittsburgh Sutherland High School, which at this point has low pressure. This will be an absolute benefit to the school system and to the community as a whole. So we've got public health benefits, we've got public safety benefits. If you turn to the next page, we list those benefits. If you go past that, we've got job creation. This project will create over 100 construction jobs, and it will have 24 total full-time permanent jobs. Those will be approximately 17 for the restaurant and 7 for the property management. The next page. Did you know Mark Ford is a local developer that has 60 years experience developing projects like this? We've been successful with a track record of completing projects and following through with what we say we're going to do. We're happy to answer any questions you have.
Robert, any other questions? Members of the board, yes.
Yeah, just one of the things that I would add is that the people who live there are going to be able to walk into the village,
Absolutely.
which will be a wonderful amenity for the people who live there. It'll help the businesses in Pittsford. And it's interesting, there's a condo community on the other side of Pittsford, Wood Creek. I have many friends who live there, and they enjoy walking into the village all the time. And there's a lot going on at Shane Place, which people who live in this community could take advantage of. So
That's a great point.
it does help. And I do like there's active transportation plans developing all over the place, and you're going to be a part of that. So that's a good thing.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, again, we're not taking any action on this today. But it allows us, the board, to understand the nature of the project and what you're requesting, which is the real property tax. No, just the sales and mortgage tax. Okay. And so whatever we need to do between now and
Right, so similarly, we'll hold a public hearing in the village and town of Pittsburgh. Staff will do a cost benefit analysis, we'll share all this with the board. If there's other diligence the board wants to see, we'll get it, answer questions, and, you know, again, if it's ready to go in December for final approval, we'll bring it back. If not, we'll wait till it's ready.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I have to leave the meeting now?
Oh, you have to leave?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thanks, Norm.
But he wanted you to know the case.
Okay, next project is the Unither Manufacturing LLC. Representative of that project is David DiCarlo, Director of Finance. And, Robin,
Yes.
you'll have to walk us through.
Absolutely. Unither Manufacturing LLC is a pharmaceutical contract and manufacturing organization focused on pre-measured single-usage dosage forms located in the town of Henrietta. The Monroe County facility is the company's only U.S. manufacturing site. Unither was approved for property tax abatement, sales tax, and mortgage reporting tax exemptions for phase 1 of their 5-year expansion plan in 2019. For phase 2, Unifor is proposing a 65,000 square foot expansion. The expansion will host a new sterile manufacturing areas and will allow for an increase in current capacity and additional production lines. The new facility will also house a state-of-the-art laboratory and warehouse. The $14 million project is projected to create 50 FTEs in addition to the existing 303 FTEs. Unifor Manufacturing LLC is seeking approval of a sales tax exemption only. The benefit to incentive ratio is 12-1.
Okay, thank you. We have with us David DiCarlo, who's the director of finance. Do you want to elaborate further?
Yeah, so we are seeking just the sales tax exemption for this expansion to help facilitate additional production. Alexi can give some.
Yeah, so I'm Alexi Weigel, the program manager in charge of this project. So currently, the goal is to increase and modernize our site. It's a pretty old site, and currently we want to have a very modern site in order to attract customers and people. We really want to develop our activities on this area, so this is why we are requesting for this.
And this is for sales and mortgage tests.
Just sales.
Just sales.
Just sales. Gotta get my facts. That's why you're here. Yeah. Any questions from the board? Okay. All right. The public hearing was held on this requirement, or this project on November 14th. Were there any comments?
No, there were not.
Okay. I'll ask you some local labor questions. Okay. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, we are.
Do you anticipate our local labor exemptions, any local labor exemptions at this time? And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The secret process is complete. There are no further questions. I'll ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. And Lisa seconds the motion. Any additions or corrections to the motion? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. Rhett?
Yay.
Lisa?
Yes.
Truman?
Yes.
And Ann is a yay, so unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, next project is HIS Land LLC. We have Representative Patrick Poe, CEO Chairman, and Jennifer Odd, Controller. Robin, would you like to walk us through?
Sure.
Summary?
His Land LLC, a real estate holding company, is proposing the renovation of a vacant facility in the city of Rochester to attract new international tenants specializing in framers for eyewear and lenses. Renovations for this facility require new roofing, HVAC, and other electrical work. The $520,845 project is projected to create 85 FTEs over the next 3 years. His Land LLC is seeking approval of a sales tax exemption only. The benefit to incentive ratio is 590-1.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Can you tell us more?
Sorry.
Tell us more about your project.
Sure. I owned the property since 1997, so it's been quite a while. And over the years, we did repairs and we did replace the roof or relayer the roof one time, re-roof one time. It get to a point where it's time for a total re-roofing, and that's why it's so expensive. I built my business in that building, and now it's been relocated to another property in Emerson. So the building needs to be renovated for ready for future tenants. The joint venture that you mentioned there, the condition is pretty bad. I mean, when there's heavy rainstorms, the employee had to carry umbrellas inside. So, it's time for us to get a new roof. So this is a total tear off. project, and that's why it's quite a amount of money, and I just hope that we can give us the sales tax exemption for this project.
Great, questions from the board? All right, so, we didn't need a public hearing for this project. I'll ask you the local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes, I do.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time? And are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes, I do.
Great, the secret process is complete. I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption.
So,
Been moved by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. Any other questions? All right, I'll take a roll call vote. I guess I need to say Norm is absent. I should have done the last one. Rhett?
yay.
Lisa?
Yes.
Truman?
Yes.
And Ann's a yay. Today's our unanimous day. Congratulations and
Thank
good
you so
luck
much.
to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next group of projects that we're going to talk about are those that are project modifications. And for Apple Lada LLC, it's a request for an extension. Is there anyone here representing that? No. Okay. I'll ask for a motion to approve an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31, 2026.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? All right, Lisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The second project modification is 1733 Ridge Road LLC. You want to go through that?
Sure.
Any more detail?
Yeah, it's another extension of the sales tax exemption. 1733 Ridge Road LLC is the owner of the former Arundel Mall, which is being redeveloped as Skyview on the Ridge. In March 2018, the abatement was approved for, the applicant, was approved for property tax abatement and sales and mortgage recording tax exemptions. In October 2020 and December 2022, the applicant was approved for an extension of the sales tax exemption. The applicant is now seeking an additional extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31st, 2026, due to construction delays, labor shortages, and significant material delays.
Okay, any questions from the board on that? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve an extension of the sales tax exemption through December 31, 2026.
You're up.
Lisa, what did you say? You're up.
I'm sorry, I told him he was up.
Oh, he's raising his hand. He's going to support. So, and that's a second. Any additional corrections to the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next modification is Jay's Acquisition 2 LLC.
Jay's Acquisitions 2 LLC is redeveloping the Triangle Building located in the city of Rochester. Originally approved in July 2023, the project includes the reconstruction and renovation of the existing building into a multi-tenant mixed-use facility with the ground floor as commercial space and new residential space above. The ground floor will be occupied by Colgate Rochester Crozier Divinity School. The new residential space will contain approximately 36 residential apartments with a mixture of studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom apartments, and will be targeted to Eastman School of Music students. The applicant is requesting an increase of $22,501 in the mortgage recording tax exemption from $32,445 to $54,945 to account for the upfront funding relative to the $3 million Restore New York grant award to the project. Total project costs will remain the same. It's just the increase on the mortgage recording tax exemption.
Any questions from the board on that? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve an increase of the mortgage recording tax exemption to an amount not to exceed $54,945. Been moved by Rhett.
Second.
Lisa, she's nodding at you. Second.
You said it too much.
Okay, let's see. So any additions or corrections to the motion? If not, All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. APM Holdings LLC, TFI Rochester, New York LLC is our next modification, an assignment. Robin?
Yes, APM Holdings LLC is a real estate holding company for Addison Precision Manufacturing Corporation. Addison was founded in 1951 and provides complex, close tolerance precision machine parts for the aircraft, aerospace, medical, and defense industries throughout the world. TFI Rochester, New York LLC is purchasing the building and will assume the pilot agreement.
Any questions on that?
We do have a representative.
Oh, we have a representative. Okay, it's Greg Nearpass, Esquire Woods, Oviatt, Gilman.
Yes. Hi, good
Welcome.
afternoon. Thank you for.
Didn't mean to
No,
skip right
no
over.
worries. Appreciate you saving the best project for last. I'm Greg Nearpass. I represent, from Woods Oviatt, represent TFI Rochester, which is the buyer, which is a part of JP Morgan's net lease fund. So, our goal in this transaction is to maintain the status quo on the property. I mean, we're coming in as the property owner, but immediately will be leasing the property back to Addison, so they will continue to maintain operations as they currently are. So this assignment will be necessary so that as the new property owner, we can continue to facilitate the benefits that you all have provided to Addison.
Okay, great. Any other questions or any questions? All right, thank you. I'll ask for a motion to approve, we already had the motion on the table, correct? No.
No.
No, all right. A motion to approve the sale of the facility and assignment of the real property tax abatement.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Brett? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What we need is a bigger agenda. We're gonna scare away on US members. Oh, it's just a normal meeting. We had, as chair of the governance committee, we met on November 5th to continue our discussion around the housing policy, including reducing the affordable set-aside back to 10% from 20%. 20% was the new policy effective in June. For projects that are requesting a real property tax abatement and removing the set-aside for projects not requesting the affordable set-aside while the housing study is underway. After discussion, the committee decided not to make any changes to the current housing policy, with the current number is 20% of units will be expected to be affordable housing, and that we will revisit the policy again once we have a very large housing study that we're initiating now that could take maybe a month or two, we're not sure, but it should take a comprehensive look at our broader community and what makes sense for that, and yet being responsive to those low-income families that they will have affordable housing. So, any questions on that? All right, that was the governance committee report. So the current housing policy stands, and we will get more data specifically for the broader region before we would think about changing the policy again. Any questions on that?
I'll just add that the RFP has been
Issued.
issued as well as out there
Yes.
publicly. We've had at least six inquiries on it that we've distributed the RFP. They're due next Wednesday, I think, or Friday. Did we do
I
Friday?
think we did a Friday.
Must be this Friday.
I think it was this Friday.
This Friday.
Yeah, the
They're due.
22nd.
And then we will actually very quickly schedule another governance committee meeting to review those proposals and make a selection.
What's the time
Anything
period
from
that we
Westchester
expect
County?
the responses from their study? Is there a timetable?
We're not aware.
We'll know when we see what they
Give us. Yep.
what they proposed.
Okay. Is it a month or so that they're?
Oh, for the
we're
actual
giving
study?
them? Or do
We'll,
we have a
I think
fine-
we'll see as part of the presentations how long it'll take. We don't really have an idea yet. The faster, the better.
Right.
Right, for sure. But we want it to be thorough.
Yeah, thorough, but expeditious.
You have a question?
I'm sure we have access to this, but I haven't seen it. Do we have the actual RFP so that we can see what the parameters?
Oh yeah, we'll
of this
share all
is?
that,
Okay.
yep, and we'll go over like the process, like what happens with the governance committee, reviewing a rating scale and how that works, we'll share all that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on that item? All right, we're going to talk next about the Rochester Child First Network, and they're asking for a grant period to be extended from December 31, 2024 to June 30, 2025. Robin? Do we have a representative?
We do, I'm just gonna
Oh, there's a
let
representative.
Jeff take it away.
Okay.
And Evelise Moreira, who oversees our family child care program, is here, along with Haley Izard, who's oversees the project day to day. We're in the business of receiving gifts and then using them in support of children. We haven't been in the business of giving money away. So when you provided this grant for us, we spent over a month just putting together the committee that was going to be making decisions. We included CSEA, we included local child care representatives, we included the Child Care Council. The big picture is we already serve 180 in-home child care providers in Rochester and in Monroe County. They have over 2,000 children in their care, and what your grant is going to help us do is even expand that number of providers that we can serve. In the Children's Agenda has shown that since COVID, about 10% of local child care providers did go out of business. It's a lot of the smaller child care providers. And at the same time, the demand is up about 18% for child care because of people returning to work who might have been working from home during COVID. So there's a real need there. We can help fill that need. And we really appreciate your support in doing this. Like I say, the challenge for us has been organizing the group, going through all the applications. You gave us $300,000 to spend, and in the first 2 weeks, we got $1.2 million worth of requests from providers. So there is a huge need out there. As a matter of fact, we've even had some early conversations with ESL Community Foundation. They were talking about doubling the money, about matching your $300,000, and we said, wait until we can get our process down. Our fiscal year ends on June 30th, so extending it by June 30th, that helps us fit it into the books better, and that just gives us more time, now that we already are handing out the money, to do it more effectively. And the last thing I'd add, Haley, who's overseeing the actual expenditures of the project, we do not make grants to individual in-home providers. What they do, they give us our requests, we're doing the purchasing. So that way we're not handing $1,000 or $2,000 or a couple $1,000 check to a provider and hoping that they'll spend it well. They come to us, we're doing the purchasing so we get the best prices, and we also make sure that exactly the right items are purchased. So we would love to have an extension to complete the project by June 30th.
Okay, any questions from the board on that? Nice to be that successful, right?
Well, we really appreciate your support. And like I said, when you support us and these providers, you're not just helping the providers, you're helping other people get their kids to care so that they can go to work every day too.
Is that actually enough time? Through June 30th?
What do you think?
Yeah, it should be enough time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll ask for a motion to approve the extension of the contract with Rochester Child First Network programs through June 30, 2025. Been moved by Rhett, seconded by Lisa. Any additional comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, next, executive director discussion item. You like your new title, right?
Acting on it, we'll be back next month.
Oh, acting, I emphasize acting.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the New York SEDC competitiveness project.
New York State Economic Development Council, we are a member of that. It's a statewide kind of sort of lobbying organization, consists of other IDAs and economic development organizations that belong to it. They are putting together this study, this competitiveness project. I just want to find the exact words. That will make recommendations to improve New York's business climate, identify regulatory challenges and fixes, address the affordability issues, and develop solutions on outward migration that is costing New York valuable resources. They're estimating the study to be $100,000, and they've reached out to their membership, looking for contributions. If we come in at the $5,000 level, then we will have essentially a seat at the table and be able to sit in on roundtables and focus groups. So that's what we're recommending, a $5,000 contribution to this project.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve a $5,000 contribution to the New York SEDC to support the competitiveness project it is undertaking. Moved by Rhett.
Second.
Seconded by.
How many IDAs are there in New
I
York,
was going to
Rachel?
say Thurman. Sorry.
It's okay.
Truman.
That's a good name too.
I know. Okay.
How many IDAs are there in New York?
Oh, Rachel, how many IDAs in New York?
I want to say like 110.
Yeah, right around just over 100.
Ballpark.
Thank you.
And other economic, it's not just IDAs, it's other economic development organizations too.
Okay. Ready for the vote on that motion? $5,000. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. The last item on the list is of our agenda items is our dashboard.
Yes.
And do you want to give us a high level on that?
Yeah, I won't get into too big of a detail, but for Truman's knowledge, we provide this every month. It's updated to like real time. It includes projects that were approved at this meeting with number of projects is the first part, and we've got number of jobs in the second part, and then the estimated fees that'll be coming in, and where we see things. Our workforce development fund, which we talked a little bit about, and where that is to date financially. And we do have, actually we didn't mention this, we have a solar workforce development fund. All solar projects requesting benefits through the IDA. As part of our policy, we have a $25,000 fee that they have to pay into our solar workforce development fund. We've had 3 projects to date that have been approved. 2 of them have actually closed seeking benefits, which is why we only have $50,000 collected to date. And on our list of things to do is to come up with a place to put that money and how to invest that money specific to the solar jobs and construction jobs.
Okay.
So that's our dashboard. Taking a high level look at funds and benefits and things. Okay, anything else to come before the board? No? You sure?
Just the executive session for Brew Road.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we do need to go into executive session. Describe what we're going into the session for.
Yeah, for real property discussion, we own real property, as everyone knows, out on Brew Road in Riga, 3 parcels, and we have several offers on the table. And Alex is here, our listing broker, who's going to kind of walk us through the different offers, and so we can come up with a path forward.
Okay, there's a motion to go in executive session. Rhett, thank you. Is there a second? Lisa, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. So do we ask folks to leave?
Sorry.
Executive session means everybody goes. Been there, done that.
Thank you.
Back in the old days.
And I think everyone remembers Taville. She's the associate who's working with me. So she'll stay as
Okay,
part of me.
part of you.
Yes.
So apologies for not sending this out in advance, but Alex put together this, I asked him to talk about this, kind of amazing that we had so many offers. In a, like,
Shocking,
that all
really.
came in at the same time. And we've had this property for so many years, and we've been working with Alex for so many years, and here they all flooded in.
Do we know who was
And I'd like a motion to authorize the executive director to negotiate the purchase price and enter into a contract for sale of the property located at 3075 and 141 Bird Road. A motion?
So moved.
By Trimmer, seconded by Rhett. Any additional changes, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved, motion carries. And Charity has no further discussion items. Our next meeting is December 17th, so at noon, and lunch is provided. They tell you that you actually get lunch?
That's the reason I joined.
You're not the first.
No, it wasn't.
No lunch, no parking.
Right?
Yeah, we
No
really,
pens, no drinking cups.
Right? Oh, do we have, Allison, do we have any more of these?
Oh, hold on one second, I gotta stop this. Hold on.